Welcome, fellow YouTube traveler. If you don't know me already, I'm Baronen, and I'm on a mission to learn art. Recently, I started a world-building project centered around dragons. All of the dragonkin wear their souls on the outside of their bodies in the form of dragons. Therefore, I am designing and painting a lot of dragons. To do this as well as possible, I take inspiration from different things. Recently, I did a video where I based dragons on 4 different reptiles, which you can watch up here in the corner. In this video, I will use dinosaurs as inspiration, because they are basically already dragons, and they are just really cool. So I gathered references of 4 different dinosaurs that I found on Pinterest, and just got to it. The first dinosaur I want to base a dragon on is, of course, the T-Rex. For this one, I wanted to capture the likeness of the T-Rex with the eyebrows and the shape of the mouth. I begin, as I always do nowadays, with silhouettes. With the silhouettes in place, I started to put on more colors to add some detail, like the feathers on top of the head, scales, and the horns. Then I used a multiply layer to paint on some shadows. After that, I merged all the layers and used a smudge brush to add textures and to smooth out some gradients. To add some final touches, I painted on some light using an overlay layer. I'm not too happy with how it turned out, but it is okay. I think it looks a little bit too much like a puppy or a hippo. I think this is mostly because I smoothed it out a bit too much and didn't leave enough texture in the transitions. This is fine, but I will give the T-Rex a worthier representation in a later illustration. For this second one, I used this beautiful image of what I think is a velociraptor. I used a much simpler work process for this one, using only one layer to do all of the painting. So during this one, I will talk a little bit about what kind of dragon this is within my world. For starters, it is definitely the dragon of a wood elf. Its colors makes it blend into the environment in the deep forests, which is very useful when hunting its prey. It uses its long-clawed, feathered wings to climb the trees and ambush the prey from above. It can also use them to fly shorter distances. In the few cases it doesn't hit its target on the first attack, it uses its strong legs and slender shape to run it down. The feathered tail is used for balance and to control rotation while pouncing from high above. I had a lot of fun painting this one, and the feathery look fit the painting process very well. In the end, I tried to add some leaf shapes, like it was hit by light coming through the leafy crowns above, but it didn't look the way I wanted it to, so I decided to not include them in the end. Now onto the third and final one from the first batch. For this one, I used 2 dinosaurs for reference, taking a little bit from both. I used the same painting process with only one layer for this one as well. This dragon is the dragon of a dwarf. It is a battle dragon that, like its dwarven body, has been trained from a young age to become a mighty warrior. Like a lot of dwarven battle dragons, this one is heavily armored. Bone-like outgrowths act as plate armor and cover its body almost in its entirety. The armor works really well against most types of projectiles, like arrows and spears. And it is generally very difficult for other dragons to find the weak points and slay it. The large front legs can be used to trample its smaller foes, and the larger ones will have a hard time against its horned head. If you find yourself behind this beast, you should run as fast as possible because of its sharp-bladed tail that will easily part you from your legs. This one was more difficult to paint than the last one. I found it kind of hard to portray the dark and shiny armor in a good way. I'm not too happy with the head, since it is so similar to the Triceratops. In the future, I want to spend more time on this design, to flesh it out a little bit and to try a few different ideas. Now on to the last one of this video. As in my most recent videos, I try to include one painting that has some more work put into it in the end, and this is that one. Going into this, I knew I wanted to paint some sort of orc dragon in the wastelands where they live. So to start off, I painted a sky and some sort of cliffs to frame the piece a little bit. And then it was time for the difficult part, painting the dragon. I started to paint the silhouettes, and I actually did this 3 times until I was happy with what I got. Unfortunately, I forgot to record a lot of it, but in the end I went with the last one that has a similar body shape to the T-Rex. With a nice start to the silhouette, I started painting like before, with only one layer for the dragon. As an extra difficult step, I painted this dragon with an open mouth. I believe this is one of the most difficult things to get right. I just think it is so hard to imagine what everything should look like in that position. Anyway, one thing that you might have noticed if you have watched my most recent videos is that pretty much all of the dragons I have painted have some sort of beak in the front of the mouth. I just really like the look of it. And I think it is nice to have something to tie all of the dragons together when they can look so different in other ways. I also gave this dragon some feathers on the top because I really like the look of the elf dragon. As I said before, this is an orc dragon, and like the dwarven dragon I painted before, this is a battle dragon. Like the orcs, its main attribute is sheer aggression. The only defenses it has is a relatively thick hide and scales, which protects it against most attacks from things like swords and arrows. Even though it isn't heavily armored, it is not easy to take down because of its tenacity and strong will to eat. Once it has set its eye on a target, it will try everything in its power to catch it, even if it should lose a few of its body parts in the process. This is how it came out for today. I'm really happy with taking it to this point, but it isn't done. In a future video, I will show you the process of taking it from this point to as polished of a painting as I can possibly make. So if you're interested in seeing that, you should definitely subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching until this point in the video. I really hope you liked it. It was so much fun to paint these, and they have gotten me more motivated to paint even more, and to maybe write a little bit more about the world. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like, and you will probably enjoy the one on the screen right now, so why not give that one a try as well. With that said, thanks again, and I will see you in the next one. Okay.